All my students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Once again, I am continuing with the separation of solid liquid mixtures. I have already explained to you about the sedimentation and decantation, then loading and filtration. I had even explained you what centrifugation is and distillation is. I had shown you the techniques, how they are carried out, and today I will proceed on to the next topic, that is distillation. What is distillation? You all have studied it several times. What is distillation? It is a method of separating a solid liquid mixture in which a solid is dissolved in a liquid, and on evaporation we obtain both the substances, both the solid and liquid are recovered. So let's proceed on to this technique. Now generally in coastal areas the sea water is distilled and pure water is obtained in this form only, and both this water and the salt that is obtained, that is left as the residue, are usable, they can be used. So this is can be done in the apparatus that you can see. That is, we are using a distillation flask, then a little big condenser. It is mounted on a Bunsen burner. This is just to demonstrate, and in distilleries we have big plants of distillation, but the principle behind is that both the things are being recovered, both the liquid and the solid. It is this particular method can also be used to separate two liquids that are completely miscible, that is, they completely mix with each other and have a considerable difference of about 25 degrees Celsius or more in the boiling points. So just see how this technique is being carried out. Now you can see that salt water is used in this flask, round bottom flask, and this is also known as the retort. You can see it is being heated and the steam is being evolved, which is collected in the cooler parts of the Liebig's condenser, and this can be seen in the form of evaporation, and this water evaporates and condenses on the cooler parts of the Liebig's condenser, which is collected again in the mixtures. We already know that there are two types of liquids, miscible and immiscible. Miscible liquids are the liquids which mix with each other. For example, you can take water and alcohol, they mix with each other and you cannot see them in the form of two different layers. But immiscible liquids, they do not mix with each other. For example, when you mix the oil and water together, they form two separate layers. These are known as the immiscible liquids. So the techniques which are there to separate the two types of liquids are different. So we have fractional distillation and separating funnel. Fractional distillation is used for separating the miscible liquids, while separating funnel is used to separate the immiscible liquids, right? So what is what is the fractional distillation? So this method is used to separate two miscible liquids, and it is based on the principle of the difference in the boiling points, right? So crude petroleum oil is separated into different useful substances such as diesel, kerosene and petrol in oil refineries by fractional distillation method. And I have just told you that this is based on the difference in the boiling points of the liquids which are mixed together, and this is the figure that is there in the book. This figure 3.7 demonstrates the separation of miscible liquids, that is water, ethanol, by fractional distillation. You can see the diagram. It is almost the same setup but we are using a fractionating column, which you can see a fractionating column is also used, and the different the liquids are obtained as different fractures in the form of their vapors, and are again collected in the Liebig's condenser, which are at last collected in the receiving flask. This I am just showing you. You can see the demonstration, the figure that is being demonstrated, that is a mixture of water and ethanol, can be separated by using this, and it is because the boiling points differ by less than 25 degrees Celsius. Ethanol has a lower boiling point of 78.37 degrees Celsius, while water, we already know, has a boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius. So alcohol distills first because it has a lower boiling point, while water is left behind in the distillation flask. Right, you can see how it is being collected, and the fractionating column can be seen in the form of the transparent extension of the conical flask only, and it carries a thermometer as well. Separating funnel, and it is used for the separation of immiscible liquids. I have just told you of two different densities, one is heavier and one is lighter. And a separating funnel is a special flask in the shape of an inverted cone. It has a mouth at the top and a stop cork at the bottom. So the immiscible liquid is poured, that is, in this case, water and oil are mixed together, and then they separate out as two separate layers. The two liquids form distinct layer, and the lighter liquid comes to the top and the heavier liquid settles at the bottom. So this is how the stop cork is opened, and first the bottom layer is removed, that is the heavier one, and when this is finished, the top layer is removed into another container. This is how separating funnel works. The next process is chromatography, and the chromatography is one of the important and modern techniques. It is used to separate mixtures only, and it is one of the techniques used to separate liquid mixtures. It can be a mixture of dyes or a mixture of different inks. So this process of separating different dissolved components of a mixture by the adsorption on an appropriate material is chromatography. And adsorption means surface absorption. It is not throughout the whole length and breadth of the absorbent, but it is just on the surface. So there are two phases. The first one is when the porous medium of larger surface, like we are using the different types of filter papers for the process of chromatography. So when chromatography is done, the one which is being given in your book is the paper chromatography, and we are using Whatman filter paper. So it's a porous paper of large surface area. The pores are very fine, so when the surface area is large, through which the components of a mixture move. This is called a stationary phase. It is either a solid or liquid. The component of a mixture that moves slowly over the stationary phase under the influence is called the mobile phase. It may be liquid or gas. So these are the two phases. That is, one is the stationary phase, that is the porous medium of larger surface area through which the components of a mixture move, and the second one is the mobile phase, in which the components of a mixture that move slowly over the stationary phase under its influence is called the mobile phase. So this is based on the principle that there are various substances which are present in a mixture, and these substances have different solubilities in the given solvent. So thus they interact, they get adsorbed differently with stationary phase and mobile phase. So this is how much adsorption is there will be determined by this particular technique. Then on the basis of stationary and mobile phases, there are different types of chromatographic techniques, but the most common and simplest technique is paper chromatography, which you can see that in this type of chromatography, a strip of Whatman filter paper is used. It's a specially designed filter paper which is made up of cellulose, and this is used as a stationary phase, which I have just explained, and a pure solvent or a mixture of solvents acts as a mobile phase. So the mobile phase travels to the stationary phase, that is the filter paper. You can see how this has traveled. So the traveling of mobile phase to stationary phase occurs by capillary action or capillary process, because of the pores that are present in the filter paper act as capillary tubes, and they work as a as the working of the capillary force. A substance that is more soluble in solvent interacts strongly, that is, it gets absorbed with high speed and with mobile phase and goes ahead of the other substances. The one with the at the highest point, now this has been absorbed best, and it goes ahead. You can see different spots at different distances on the paper, right? So the one which is highest is absorbed most effectively. So what are the advantages of this chromatography? It is used to separate the components with similar physical and chemical properties. We can see that like it's a mixture of it. You can easily make out on the filter paper that what type, what are the different dyes or what are the different color inks that have been mixed together. It can be used to separate a very small quantity of the substance. And number 3, that it can be used to determine the purity of the compound. Different spots are seen on the filter paper, that means it is a mixture of different types of inks, or be it anything, just to determine the purity it is done. So what are these? This is the chart or the table which is telling the methods of separation of mixtures and the example. Go through this. We have already discussed this, and you should be learning them properly so that you are able to understand them. Then the separation of mixtures by using more than one one method. That is when the methods which we have demonstrated, if there are more than one method which are required for separation, we generally take many different separation techniques. For example, when we have a mixture containing common salt and marble powder, then what do? So you have seen that common salt can easily dissolve in water, so we dissolve common salt in water and mix well. Marble powder is insoluble, then we get a salt solution with undissolved marble powder, because salt is soluble in water, and then we filter it. What do we obtain as a residue? On the filter paper we obtain the marble powder as residue, and filtrate in the beaker, we get the salt solution. Then after that, what do? We evaporate the salt solution, and all the water evaporates, and we get the salt, and we can recover the marble powder and dry it on the filter paper itself. Then we can recover both the marble powder also and salt also. Next mixture is of iron filings, ammonium chloride and sand from the mixture. So the thing that strikes the mind is that it is iron filing. That means the first thing that we will do to separate is we will use a magnet. We will use magnetic separation. So all the iron filings stick to the magnet, and what are we left with? A mixture of ammonium chloride and sand. Ammonium chloride is sublimable, we have already discussed, and sand, the two are there, so we use the process of sublimation. The whole process of sublimation is done. How is it done? It is done in a china dish over which the funnel is inverted and which is closed, and then we heat the mixture. All the ammonium chloride condenses on the cooler parts, all the it escapes in the form of vapors and then condenses on the cooler parts, narrower parts of the funnel, which is recovered afterwards when it solidifies, and what is left behind in the china dish is sand. So like this you should be knowing if you are giving different types of mixtures and we are using different techniques for separating them. So please try doing this exercise and revise. Okay, let's do it just now only. Exercise 1, that is exercise 8. Tick the correct option. Which of the following is not correctly written? Salt from seawater, by evaporation, fine clay particles from sand is sedimentation, and next is chalk powder from water filtration, which is incorrectly written. Please try finding the answers to this. First revise the whole chapter and then we will discuss the exercise in the next session, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.